First game back from this long injury that I've just had, I get the ball, but I feel my right hamstring go. And this one feels like worse. This one feels bad. I'm thinking, like, this can't be true. Like, this can't be real. What's going on?
2016, whispers of an exciting 16-year-old at Fulham started to spread through the football world.
As you can imagine, I'm 16 years old, scored 2 goals in the champ against the team that's running away with the league. I want to take the penalty. I want to score a hat-trick.
Ryan Sessegnon didn't just make his debut, he made history. The youngest ever championship goalscorer, the first player born in the 21st century to score in English professional football.
I kind of was taking things in my stride. I wasn't really thinking like, wow, 100 games at 18. I was looking at it like, this is what I was meant to do. This is what I've been working for, you know.
And by the end of the 2016-17 season, he had 7 goals in 30 appearances, a place in the Championship Team of the Year, and a reputation as one of the brightest talents in world football.
It's when you look back and you see it and it's like, okay, that what I was doing was crazy.
All the top clubs wanted him. The hype was real. Fame, pressure, scrutiny. It's a lot for a teenager to handle.
I wasn't ready for all that light and all the talk, all the media.
After turning 19, Ryan decided it was time to leave Fulham and was bought by Spurs for £25 million. This was supposed to be the next big step in his career, but things did not go to plan.
It took me a minute to really process what you were saying. I've ruined my chance, really. That's how I was thinking at the time. I've ruined my chance.
For the first time, Ryan shares his untold story. What really happened at Tottenham? How did his meteoric rise come to a sudden halt?
When you're young and you start in the industry and everything's going well for you at the start and everyone's going to say you're going to stay there, you kind of feed into it, but you know, deep down, anything can happen.
Nowadays, Ryan is fit and back playing for Fulham in the Premier League. Still only 24 years old, he has time to reach the heights we all know he's capable of. This is Perspectives with Ryan Sessegnon.
The minute you're slack, the minute you switch off, things can go left really quickly. Hello, my name is Ryan Sessegnon. I'm a professional footballer for Fulham Football Club. I'm here to do Perspectives for rising ballers.
Ryan, welcome, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. My first question is, can you tell us a bit about where you're from and how football started for you?
So originally I'm from Southwest London, Roehampton. And yeah, football started for me. Started playing football around 6, 7 years old. And then played obviously for a Sunday league team called Wongas. I was located in Surrey. And then from there, I got scouted for Fulham at the age of 8. And then that's how my journey started.
Do you, I ask all the players that come on this, like, was there a moment when you realised as a kid that you were like good at football? Is there like a specific moment?
Nah, not really. For me, I was like, obviously at that age, you're just playing for fun, all that kind of stuff. And then I would say, like, you start winning little awards here and there when you're young, but you don't think too much of it. You're just, playing football. For me, I would probably say, as I was progressing in the academy's age groups at Fulham, I'd probably say when I was like 14, that's when I realised like this could be like something.
Nice, man. Yeah, fair. Realised you were better than everyone else, basically.
Nah.
No, I'm joking. So, just to rewind, so is there a story associated with how you got scouted for Fulham? Specific game or anything like that? Do you remember anything?
No, I don't remember a specific game. It was more, I think, like just doing well at my Sunday league team, and then a scout just came to my dad and said, obviously, we want to take you and your brother on trial at the club. And then I remember we went to like Goals in Tolworth. They did like a little trial thing there. Did that, and then they said, yeah, obviously you did well. Come to the academy. And then, yeah, I was just signed from like 8 years old, put straight into the under-9s, and then started like that. Yeah.
Nice. Grew up playing with your twin brother, Stephen. He's at Wigan now. What were the pros and cons of playing football with your brother? And how much of an impact did he have on your career growing up and stuff?
I think the pros, obviously, having someone there always with you, having to like challenge you, push you and that kind of stuff. But it was also obviously fun, having a twin. Wanting to be the better twin at the time, obviously. And yeah, it was just having that someone there to support you as well. And that's all it was. That's the pros. The cons were obviously like if things were going well for me, you'd obviously want things to go well for my brother as well. And obviously, from a young age, both of us were doing well. I would even say from then he was ahead of me at certain points in the academy as well. Obviously, you can ask probably the coaches, and they'll probably tell you the same. He was probably progressing more than me at a certain point, and then it kind of leveled out as we got a little bit older, and then obviously he had a serious knee injury when he was he was 14, 15, and then obviously that's when I started pushing on. So
Cool. Did you guys get scouted for Fulham at the same time?
yeah, same time, yeah.
And you're both playing for the same team?
Yeah.
Okay, so they brought you in together. That must have been nice, like going into a new environment as a kid and having someone you knew like with you and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously if I was by myself, it would have probably been a bit more difficult, a bit more tricky. But again, having your brother there beside you was a good feeling at the time.
Okay. Your school team or Sunday league team or either must have been pretty decent having both of you brothers in the team. You got any memories of that?
What, Sunday league team
Yeah,
and school
Sunday
team?
league or school or just what it was like growing up playing together?
Yeah, Sunday league team was more obviously me, Stephen. We had another boy called Max at the time, who also got scouted at Fulham just before me and Stephen did. So our team was pretty good back then. I remember in the area we was playing against teams that had Conor Gallagher. His team, I think it was at Epsom, Sunday league team in Epsom.
Southwest Surrey way.
Yeah. I think Reece James was part of that as well. So there was always like local players around from the area. We was always playing against each other from a young age. And then school team, obviously, I went to a school called Coombe Boys in New Malden. And it was a school that was connected to Fulham. And obviously our school team just had Fulham players. The starting 11 was the whole Fulham team. So we'd won like...
That's not fair, man.
It's not fair, that's what I'm saying. And we won National Cup like back to back. And then I think got to the final of the Surrey Cup or something like that. So we've always had a good team.
Nice, bro. Can you take me through sort of like the journey at Fulham? So you joined, do you say under 8s or under 9s?
Under 9s, but at 8 years old.
Okay, 8 years old. Can you just sort of tell me what the trajectory was like step by step? What was that experience of like growing up in the academy?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, Fulham have always had that record of producing young players from the academy to reach the first team. So for me, I always looked up at players that did that. So each year I was just taking it step by step. Wasn't really thinking too much of it, just, playing football, growing up. And then as I got a little bit older, that's when I would say like, okay, I want to make the first team at a certain point, all that kind of stuff. And then everything just happened like that. Yeah.
Do you have like a key memory that sticks out from your academy days? Like one of your favourite games or one of your favourite memories or anything, favourite wins?
Not a specific memory in terms of game or anything, but we won like a few tournaments. I remember, I keep going back to being like 14 under 14 because that's when our team was like really, really good. I remember like in the younger age, we were under 9s, 10s playing against obviously my teammates now, Reece Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe back then when they were at Arsenal, and their team was a joke. Like they used to kill us all the time. We would always lose. We'd go there, hell end. We knew what time it was a long day. But as we got older, under 14s, 15s, our team became strong, and then we started winning tournaments at St. George's, Night Cup, all that kind of stuff, when the England scouts were coming, all that kind of stuff, and then we were strong. I think we won one at Warwick and all that type of stuff. So I would say those are the main memories of winning tournaments and stuff.
I've spoken to other players about this, but like what academy teams in your age group were the best? Obviously you mentioned Arsenal, any others?
Chelsea.
Yeah. Who did Chelsea have in your age group?
Who did they not have? Oh my, they had, so like I said, Reece James, Conor Gallagher, Ryan Brewster. Who else did they have? Zach Medley, and obviously a little bit older guys like Mason Mount, Trevor Chalobah. Like it was a joke. Dujon Sterling. The team was a joke. Yeah, it was good.
So Chelsea and Arsenal were the tough ones.
Mm-hmm.
Not City United.
We didn't really play them because we was on the south section. So. Yeah.
So you started training with the first team around 15 years old. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What are your memories of that transition? Like, what was it like first going in with the first team and stuff? Were you nervous? Was it tough?
I was nervous. Yeah, it was scary. They pulled me out of school one time because I think they needed like extra players to train on the Friday before a game. So I got pulled out of school one time by on the 18s manager at the time, Steve Wigley, he pulled me out and said, like, come over. I thought it was just normal, like, training, for example, with the 21s or something. But he's like, nah, you're coming to train with the first team. And when he told me, I was just like, it took me a minute to really process what he was saying. Then he was like, yeah, get in the gym, do what you got to do, and then you're out with the first team. Obviously, that was a surreal moment because I was like, I'm training with these guys. But it was good though. I enjoyed it. I was nervous, obviously, at the start and stuff, so but it was good.
So you're like year 10, you're 15, year 10.
Year 10? I think I was year 11. Yeah, year 11, yeah.
Doing your GCSEs. And then, and so basically someone's come into your class and said, oh, you're training with the first team.
Yeah.
You must have been the man at school.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good feeling.
The way you broke into the first team at Fulham was pretty crazy. Made your debut at 16, started scoring goals and finished your first season with 30 first team appearances. Broke records, won personal awards. That must have been like quite a whirlwind experience. Can you talk us through that season, like from your debut and just what the experience was like?
So that season, so just after I finished school, a few of the young guys got invited to go to the pre-season tour with the first team. I think went to Ireland, and yeah, obviously I remember being very excited going away with the first team for the first time. And then obviously played some pre-season games. It did quite well in those games. I remember we played Brighton at Aldershot's ground after we come back from Ireland. I remember I scored in that game as well, so obviously it was a good feeling being in and around it, doing well. And then not too long after that, in a League Cup game, we all, like 3-4 of us from the academy, me, Luca Della Torre, Dennis Adeniran, and Teo Eden made our debuts at the same time against Leyton Orient. Obviously, I think we won 3-1. So obviously to make my debut at that age was a great feeling for me.
And you were 16?
I was 16, yeah, at the time.
Was that a league game? No, it wouldn't have been.
No, EFL Cup. Yeah. And yeah, it was good. Yeah, so I did well, I think, in that game. And then I remember not too long after, I made my first championship start, Leeds away, which obviously was very hostile stadium, very hostile atmosphere. And I remember the ball coming to me for the first time in the game, and the ball went underneath my boot and just come off the pitch. I said, oh my dear. And I remember feeling, okay, cool, I need to stay calm. It's the first moments of the game. It's going to be tough, but just hang in there. And then, yeah, I ended up doing quite well in that game. But then, obviously, I remember towards the end was 1-0 up. I can't remember whether it was a cross or a deflected shot or anything. It came near me, and I kind of like had the opportunity to like put my head there. But me being a bit like, I don't know whether I was slow, scared, or like a bit timid. Like, I didn't put my head fully there, and then the guy, I think, like challenged that, and then they scored. And obviously, us drawing the game later on, I felt like it was kind of my fault, you know. So I was a little bit down, but obviously at the same time happy that, you know, I made my debut in the league. Yeah, and then from there, what was after that? I think I scored my first goal in the league. First goal for Fulham at the time. Coming off the bench against Cardiff.
In the championship, yeah?
In the championship, yeah.
Yeah, first player born in the 2000s to score a professional goal, basically.
There you go.
That's a record.
Is that still a record now? Oh, it has to be, it's the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, how could it not be? Yeah, you're still the first player to do it, yeah.
Yeah, after I scored that, then I just went, I can't remember the order of how many games and that kind of stuff, but went on to obviously score a few more in that season. And obviously I played a lot more than I thought I would be playing at that age. You said 30 games?
But apparently, according to Wikipedia. Anyway.
30 games. And obviously that's credit to the manager as well. He didn't obviously have to show the faith that he did in me at that time. And yeah, shout out to Slaviša Jokanovic.
So yeah, I need to run through these because like when I was researching and stuff, preparing for this, like I remember it happening at the time, but I didn't. When you read it back, you realise how crazy it was. But as we said, first player born in the 2000s to score in professional football in England. You were the youngest ever player to score in the Championship. I don't know if you still hold that or not. We'd have to check that, but you were at the time, definitely. You scored the winner on your FA Cup debut. Not bad.
Also against Cardiff. And
then you finished the season, 30 appearances and 7 goals as a 16-year-old, turning 17.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were named in the Championship team of the season, and you were the youngest player ever to be named in it. It's not bad, is it? Like, in terms of debut seasons go, did you like going into that season when you when you made your debut and stuff? Were you expecting that
No,
that level of success?
definitely not. I remember thinking like, because at the time I was taking things in my stride. I wasn't like looking at it thinking, whoa, this is crazy, my age, to do that. But when I look back now, obviously I look at it and think it's crazy what I was doing. But no, I was just taking everything in my stride, just playing games and then trying to help the team. That was it really.
Yeah, and then were any other young players sort of getting that much game time at Fulham at the time? Was it just you really?
At the time, in terms of the league, no, it was me at the time. The other guys were playing in the cup here and there, but in terms of the league, it was just me at the time.
Fair. And what was how did you find the transition? You obviously played really well, but was the jump from like academy football to first team like massive?
It wasn't, to be honest, it was massive in terms of the inexperience of playing games at that level, but in terms of physicality and speed and stuff, I got up to speed quite quickly because, like I said, when I was just before I started playing first team, when I was 15, I was playing 18s and stuff like that anyway, so I was always playing against older players from the start, so it wasn't really a surprise or a jump to me. That was it.
Fair enough, man. So you're 16 years old with all this media attention. Top clubs were trying to sign you. There was a lot of transfer gossip, clubs coming in for you, etc., etc. What was that experience like, especially when the season ended? Like, how did you keep yourself level-headed? Because I think a lot of people, if they're like 16, 17, having that sort of attention and hype around them, could quite easily lose their heads a bit.
It's about having good people around you. So I had my agent, my family, my missus, my girlfriend with me. Yeah, just having good people around me, keeping me grounded. I'm quite a calm person anyway, so it was never really gonna like make my head like turn or be too big-headed or anything like that. And I always wanted to stay at Fulham anyway, so it was just about me turning 17 and putting pen to paper. So that was it. Yeah.
Okay, so you were able to stay level-headed, right? Which is great. Fair play to you. But the other side of that is you're getting all this hype, all this attention. People are talking about you. I think there's like something online about Alan Shearer saying how amazing your performance was against Newcastle. Big people are talking about you. On the other side of that, if you can keep yourself level-headed, how did you feel like a lot of pressure then for the following season to keep up to that standard?
Do you know what? Surprisingly, no, because it was always coming from the manager as well. The manager was always trying to keep me out of the media anyway, keeping me out of the limelight. I didn't feel any pressure. I wasn't really looking into it. I knew I was doing well for the club, but I wasn't like, oh, this club, or I need to replicate what I did the following season. I was just trying to play games and try to help the team. And obviously, I can give you a moment where I would say where the gaffer like managed me well. That game you're talking about, where Alan Shearer was talking about Newcastle. In that first season, we played Newcastle away at St James's Park, and they were top of the league at the time. And we just hit a little bit of form. And I remember, I think it was in March 2017. I think 2017. And obviously I scored 2 goals there, and then so we're winning 3-1. I scored 2 goals. We get a penalty in the last kick of the game, basically. And obviously, as you can imagine, I'm 16 years old. I scored 2 goals in the champ against the team that's running away with the league. I want to take the penalty. I want to score a hat trick. Yeah. And then the gaffers said from the side, basically, I didn't know this at the time, but he told me after, basically saying I wasn't ready for all that light and all the talk, all the media. Gave the ball to Tim Ream. Yeah. Shout out Tim Ream, by the way, but he's a centre back. Yeah. Wanted to take the penalty. I wanted to take it, but okay, he took the penalty. Considering it's the last kick of the game, he's missed. Oh. So obviously at the time it didn't mean anything in terms of the result, but at the time I was angry because it's I could have made even crazy history, but it was it's one of those things where the gaffer wanted to, protect me a little bit. And looking back, it was probably the right decision. Yeah,
it would have been short-term gain, probably long-term pain. Cool. That first season, when the first season ended, you had offers to leave Fulham. And And also, that first season, you hadn't signed a pro contract
No,
at that
yeah.
point, had you?
So yeah,
So you did a whole season basically as a scholar.
Fulham, yeah.
That's mad. Fair. Okay. So yeah, at the end of the season, your breakthrough season, you had plenty of offers to leave Fulham, and I imagine probably quite big money as well. But you chose to stay. You signed your first pro there. What made you stay?
The project, me being from the academy, me knowing that I did well the season before, I knew with this manager and the way he wanted to play and the way we was pushing in the right direction, we was gonna do something great the following year. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to stay as well.
Nice. Following season was pretty much the same. Like things just kept getting better for you. Broke more records, won more awards, helped Fulham win the playoff final, got them back in the Premier League. What was that experience like? What was season 2 like? I feel like I'm in a TV show, by the way. It literally is season 2, isn't it? Like,
yeah, season 2 was crazy. It didn't start off so well. If I remember correctly, I remember I was getting chopped and changed in terms of positions. I started off playing left back in that season. We wasn't doing too great as a team, I don't think. It wasn't until we went on a long run. I can't remember when. It was like 23 games unbeaten to push us into the playoffs, you know. So it didn't start off well, but then once we went on that long unbeaten run, that's when it was really good. And it wasn't until January 2018, I believe it was, the club brought in Matt Target, shout out to Matt Target, went left back, he pushed me further forward, and then that's where we had that partnership on the left.
nice. Got into the playoffs. What was the playoff final like? That must have been quite mad. Probably the biggest game of your career so far then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a crazy feeling to walk out on Wembley, knowing you're one game away from bringing the club that you've obviously been your whole life at into the Premier League was a surreal feeling, and obviously the outcome was fantastic.
Yeah. What was who did you play? What was the score in that game?
We won 1-0, played Aston Villa.
You score?
Assist.
Assist.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I read that. Yeah. Fair. And then back in the Prem, basically. That must have sent shockwaves through the club.
Yeah, it was good. It was obviously we hadn't been in the Premier League for a long time at that time, so it was really good for everyone at the club. Really, really good.
Amazing, man. So season 3, first season in the Prem. Again, first player born in the 2000s to score in the Premier League. And you made your 100th appearance for Fulham that season at only 18. 100 games by 18. That's crazy. Yeah, what was the jump like from the champ to the Prem?
Yeah, it was big.
Really?
People don't realize. Yeah, people don't realize how big that jump is. You go from the champ where it's a lot of games, but the intensity is probably not as high, or maybe it is, but the quality is not as high. Then you get to the Prem, and I found out obviously you make mistakes, and 9 times out of 10 it gets punished very quickly. So I had to adapt quick, but you learn that as you play more and more games.
Fair play, man. Would you say, because your answer was different there. Earlier on, you said when you went into the first team and the champ, you didn't find it that different. Was it a much bigger jump? Really?
Yeah. I remember the first game of that season, we played Palace at home, and you could see it there. We was quite obviously new as a team, new to the Premier League, and obviously they'd been in the Premier League a few years, and they played together a lot longer and that kind of stuff, and you kind of saw it in that game where we got punished for mistakes. So that's when I first noticed it. Yeah.
18 years old, 100 appearances, playing in the Prem. Like you at that point, you kind of like pinching yourself a bit. Like I can't imagine you could have thought things could have been going better, really.
Yeah, everything was going well. Obviously, I remember that game when I made my 100th appearance. It was Man United away, where obviously at that time again, I kind of was taking things in my stride. So I wasn't really thinking like, wow, 100 games at 18. I was looking at it like, this is what I was meant to do. This is what I've been working for, you know. So, and like you said, it's when you look back and you see it, and it's like, okay, like what I was doing was crazy.
Yeah. You should be proud of yourself, man. 100%. So at this point, the end of that season, you had 3 full seasons in the first team at Fulham, decided it was time to leave. Multiple clubs been chasing you for years. You were linked with United, Liverpool, Everton. Pretty much everyone was trying to buy you. how and why did you end up signing for Tottenham? And can you let us in behind the scenes of how that whole transfer happened?
So Tottenham were like chasing me for a number of years, and I knew that Pochettino at the time wanted me a lot. So once I kind of saw like Tottenham were really pushing to sign me, that's when I thought, you know what? And they just got to the Champions League final the year before, and they lost against Liverpool. So I thought, you know, as me as a young player working under a manager like Pochettino, it was probably the right time to go there and work under him. So I decided to make the jump there.
I think for like fans that like watch football and stuff, they obviously hear about transfers through the news and stuff. Like as a player, it'd be really interesting for you to explain as a player, like how do you first find out? Like how does a transfer happen for you? Like does your agent call you one day and like, oh, Spurs wants to sign you? Like how did it all work?
So I think initially it starts like your agent will tell you what teams are interested, like when your contract is either like running out or like there's high interest in you, stuff like that. So I knew what teams were after me when that season we got relegated in the Premier League. So from there, it was just about kind of choosing where I wanted to go, and yeah, that's how I chose Tottenham through. Obviously, my agent told me about all the things behind the scenes with the club and how they wanted to sign me, all that kind of stuff, and then yeah.
So all these clubs chasing you. You end up signing for Tottenham. What persuaded you and made you pick Tottenham?
So for me, Pochettino was the main reason why I chose Spurs at the time. It was a young, ambitious team that just got to the Champions League final, and to have the chance as a young player to work under him, considering what he'd done with a lot of young players at the club already, was obviously a very good marker for me to go and wanting to develop even more. So
you joined Tottenham now. You wanted to work with Poch. You're with Poch. What was it like working with him? What was like the first few weeks like at Tottenham? What was that experience like?
So firstly, obviously I signed. I get this August, but remember I've just come back from under 21s Euros.
Okay.
And I got injured in that tournament. So I'm arriving to the club injured, quite a bad injury as well. I think it was like a grade 3C hamstring. So when I've obviously turned up to the club, I'm not training. I'm in the physio room, and at that time I'm not having too much contact with Poch or with the team, because at that time he didn't want injured players to be in like meetings and stuff like that. So we were kind of like separate from that. But obviously he welcomed me to the club and all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't really in and around like the players and stuff at that time, because obviously being injured. And then by the time I got fit, I went to England 21s camp in November of that 2019 of that season. When I came back, Poch had got sacked. So I didn't really have too much of a relationship with Poch, even though obviously he brought me to the club, because I wasn't fit for him basically.
Such bad luck. Fair. Okay, cool. So you're fit again, November, you're back. Poch is gone. Who came in?
Mourinho.
Okay. Tasty. All right. So what was it like with Mourinho joining?
So yeah, Mourinho was obviously a very good manager, good guy, very straightforward, honest guy, and yeah, I remember at the time when he came in, everyone was buzzing. You know, obviously sad that Poch had left, but obviously bringing in a manager of Jose Mourinho's stature to the club was obviously very exciting for everyone around the club. And then I remember he started off the season like very well. When he first came in, I think he was winning most games, all that kind of stuff. But I wasn't really involved. For much of his time there, I wasn't involved, to be honest with you. I was kind of left out and things like that. So it was just more just training really with me and him. Yeah.
So that must have been quite difficult for you. You've gone from 2-3 seasons where you've been first name on the team sheet, killing it. You've made this move, and then all of a sudden it's not really going your way. Injuries, manager changes, etc., etc. Like, how did you feel at that moment? Where you how were you coping with that mentally?
It was tough, but I just kept saying to myself, look, the manager that you signed for has gone, but you can either like feel weird about it, or look, new manager coming in, let's try and work, you know, be focused, that kind of stuff. Initially, obviously at the start, I wasn't really playing and stuff, so it was tough. I was young, but you keep pushing, you know, you don't give up, you keep going. As I've come back from injury, sorry, my first game under Mourinho was Champions League game away to Bayern Munich in the group stage. So that was actually my first start for Tottenham as well. So he gives me a start. I'm playing left wing at this time, and I managed to score away at Bayern, and then which is obviously a good.
Was it your first ever Champions League game?
Yes, Champions League
Not
debut.
bad.
Was it? Yeah, Champions League debut. Yeah, Champions League debut, Tottenham debut at the same time, and obviously managed to score, which was obviously a good feeling. And then yeah, we ended up losing the game to a very good Bayern team, and then yeah, that's how it started for me under Mourinho. All that COVID's hit, so the league stopped, and I remember just before COVID came in, we got to the knockout stages of the Champions League, and we played Leipzig away, and then yeah, obviously it wasn't a great game. We had like Harry Kane injured and big players were injured, that kind of stuff. Ended up losing, and then that's when COVID hit. Season got scrapped. The following year, obviously Mourinho's still there, and then that's when he sent me on loan the following season, because I think they brought in Sergio Reguilon, and then obviously that was my chance to go on loan and play, really.
Hoffenheim, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
That was good. It was tough. It was just me and my missus in Germany, where during lockdown, as you can imagine, it was crazy. Everything.
Different world, bro.
Just us two out there. So no family can come over.
Yeah, shit, COVID.
It's crazy.
That's tough, bro. Fuck.
Was out there for 8 months in a quite small apartment. But yeah, we made it work. It was crazy. I don't know how we did it. But yeah, it was literally go to training, come back. And obviously I felt so sorry for Lace, because she was just stuck in an apartment basically by herself, just waiting for me to come back from training.
Having a laugh, yeah. Like, but there was loads to do. Like.
But it was tough. But obviously having her there helped me a lot.
And how did football go out there?
Football was good. I played a lot of games out there. And I believe at that time in my career, where I wasn't really playing, to go out there, different language, different league, different culture, to play, I think I played about 30 games out there, which was what I needed at that time, was good. It was really good. And I want to say this as well, a thank you to Mourinho as well for doing that, because at that time, I could have easily just, you know, wanted to stay in my comfort zone and sulk and all that kind of stuff, but for him to allow me to go out there and do that, I wanted to really go and show a different side to myself, show that aggressive side at that time off the ball where he wanted me to improve. I believe when I went there, I really did improve my off the ball play as well.
Amazing, man. So when did you go back to Spurs? When did that loan end?
So that loan ended in May 2021.
End of the season, basically.
End of the season, yeah.
21-22, you're back at Spurs, basically.
Back at Spurs.
Cool. So what happened? Mourinho still there at that point?
So Mourinho got sacked.
At the end of the season? Okay, shit.
Just before the end of the season.
Okay.
So I come back to a new manager, and it was Nuno Santos. Obviously, very good manager, good guy as well. He also wanted me as well when he was at Wolves. So we had a good relationship straight away. But unfortunately, when I came back to pre-season, I think it was like second or third session of his, I got injured. So he didn't really get to see me like train or play or anything like that. So I was injured until...
You were injured in pre-season?
In pre-season, yeah.
So you come back from loan, new manager, new opportunity to prove yourself, and then injury again. Oh my God, okay.
It was frustrating. I wanted to prove myself to this new coach, you know. And then by the time I was ready to come back, he got sacked. He was gone.
How long was that period when we ready to come back?
Like 3 months.
Was it hamstring again?
Yeah, hamstring,
Okay.
yeah.
So he's gone within 4 months?
Yeah, he got sacked in November.
Okay.
So it's kind of the same, like it was like that cycle from Poch to Mourinho. It's kind of did the same thing again. So he went, Then Antonio Conte came in, and yeah, he was intense. But in a good way. He was a very good coach. I loved him, to be honest with you. Very good coach, honest, and yeah, he helped me a lot. You know.
We were when we interviewed Callum the other week. He was talking about Conte at Chelsea, and he was just like, he just made us run.
Yeah,
Is
same.
that the same?
Same. Literally the same. He's just makes us run, but tactically one of the best coaches I've worked under.
I can imagine. So yeah, what sort of happens thereafter? So Conte's come in, you're fit again. How did the rest of that season go?
So me personally, it was a good season when he first came in. So that was the season we were pushing for 4th, but when he first came in, we was like 8th or 9th, not really playing well. And like he's kind of maybe his job at that time was probably to just get a few wins on the board and let's see what happens, push. But then we went on a crazy run, and then that was the season we were pushing Arsenal for 4th, and we managed to get 4th over them that season. So my first game one day was a Europa Conference League game away at Mura, and that was my first start under Conte. So obviously, as you can imagine, I want to do well. New manager again, want to start well. It couldn't have gone any worse for me, honestly. I remember, when you try to over impress, like type thing, that's what kind of happened with me in that scenario where
you were thinking about it too much.
Too much, literally. Those words there, literally what he said to me as I was thinking too much, and then I literally, 2 yellows in the first half, and then I was gone. Red card. So as you can imagine, I've gone into the change room. We're losing the game. I've got sent off, and I'm just sitting there like thinking like I've ruined my chance. Really, that's how I was thinking at the time. I've ruined my chance.
Shit, man, the world must have been on your shoulders.
Honestly, yeah. But that's how I was feeling. I was thinking like, this is crazy. This is mad. And then we end up losing the game. I can only say what he said about me. He said to me, he said, Ryan, like, how can you get sent off? And he's even basically, I didn't really touch the ball in that game, in the game that I was playing. But he said, how do you play for? I think I got sent off in like 30 minutes, not touch the ball once, and get 2 yellow cards. It don't make sense. So you can imagine, like, everyone's kind of like holding in their laugh and all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't the best of starts under him, but in football, there's always another chance, So, which brings me to my next point. In the Premier League, I remember we were playing Norwich at home, and Reguilon gets injured. So I'm thinking, cool, this is my time again. I come on, I end up doing quite well, and then from there, you kind of regain the trust of the manager again, and then, and that's how it starts.
Norwich, you're back. You're doing. Was it Norwich you said?
Yeah, Norwich. Yeah.
Norwich, you're back. You're doing well. Getting the trust back.
Yeah, and I don't remember like the who we played like after that stuff, but I remember there was a period of time where the back end of that season where I think I played maybe 6 or 7, 8 games in a row, and at that time that was the longest I'd been playing consecutively in the league since my Fulham days. So for me to do that was obviously on a personal level was really good, and then doing well in those games, obviously helping the team, and then we pushed. I remember the famous game against Arsenal at our ground when we beat them 3-0 when Rob Holding got sent off for that elbow and Son. And the stadium was electric that day, I remember.
Is that your first North London derby as well?
That was my first one. Stadium rocking, obviously beating them 3-0, and then beating them to 4th was one of the greatest achievements that I would say I was part of, because knowing, like, in terms of the fans and how much Tottenham fans, the rivalry and all that kind of stuff was good.
Fair play.
And yeah.
So that's the end of that season.
That's the end of that season.
Back on form, beat Arsenal to it, cool. Go on holiday, come back, what happens?
So go on holiday, come back. I made sure I got myself like fit, ready for the Fulham season, knowing that we're in the Champions League, all that kind of stuff this year. And
Did you feel like at this point you're like, okay, I've got through the worst of it, I'm ready to
yes,
kick on kind of
absolutely.
thing? Yeah.
I felt strong, went away, did some good work, come back, went pre-season in South Korea, did a lot of running there. I don't know if you've seen that famous clip or photo of us like running up and down, and people like throwing up on the floor, all that kind of stuff. And then we start the season. I'm starting the season. We play Southampton at home. We went 1-0 down, and we end up winning 3-1. I score. So I'm thinking like all the work I've done in pre-season and just before pre-season is paying off. I'm done well. I feel strong. Like body feels good, and yeah, started the season well. And at this season we're playing 5 under Conte. We're playing wing backs, and we've got obviously Ivan Perisic as well. That's left wing back as well.
5 kind of suits you, know?
Yeah, it suits me. That's what I'm saying. So the way we was playing under him, it was me down to a T. You know, it suits the way I play and all that kind of stuff. So it was good. I remember, and then we played the first 2 games. So I played that game. Following week we got Chelsea away. I started that game. It was an okay game. We didn't really play too well, and then we end up drawing the game. And then obviously in that season, like me and Ivan were like kind of switching. Like he's playing 2 games here and there. I'm playing 2 games, playing 1 game, all that kind of stuff, as well as playing Champions League games, all that kind of stuff. And then the season was going well. I was playing games, everything was all good. Yeah, World Cup year. There was obviously people saying that I had an outside chance of being part of that, all that kind of stuff. And then we play Forest in the cup away just before Christmas. I think it's just before Christmas, just before the World Cup starts, all that kind of stuff. And then unfortunately, yeah, I got injured in that game.
That injury like really kind of knocked you off your trajectory, right? Things are back on track. That do you remember exactly how that happened?
Like in the second half of that game, I don't know if I was sprinting. I might have done a sprint. Someone played me the ball, but I think I did a sprint and I just felt something in my hamstring, and to be honest, I should have went off, but I don't think I did. I think we'd done all our subs, and then me like wanting to, obviously we're losing. I want to try and help the team win all that kind of stuff, and I think I carried on, and then yeah, I probably should have come off.
Good nature got the better of you.
But I ended up finishing the game actually, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's no secret you had a tough time with injuries over the years, particularly hamstrings. How have those injuries? Because like from the story you just told, like it feels like every time something was going good, you just got knocked off by these really unfortunate injuries. How like I imagine you had some pretty low moments as a result of that. How did you cope from it? And then now you're back, you're fit, you're good. How have you overcome that? Because that's not an easy journey either.
How did I overcome it? Yeah, it was tough. Like obviously it's happened once or twice before, so at that time I was doing well, so I was thinking like it's another like punch to the face type thing. So it was tough to get over, but like I said before, having good people around you, good family, missus, to keeping you going, and you always have to remember why you started playing football in the first place, you know. So you have to keep going. There's no real time to give up and that kind of stuff. So
How much time you had to spend in the gym doing all rehab and everything?
it was a lot. I think 2 to 3 months. And you're going inside, watching everyone go outside to train, all that kind of stuff. It was tough to take, but it's part of the game at the end of the day. So you have to keep going. What else are you gonna do? You can't stop.
So you're back from the injury.
Back from the injury, season ends. Conte's gone, so Conte gets sacked.
How did you feel about that, by the way?
Yeah, it kind of hurt me a little bit because knowing the relationship me and Conte had was good. But obviously they made their decision to get rid of him. So as players, you have to just get on with it, I guess. So that's what we did. So when he went, they brought in obviously Ange Postecoglou. Obviously very good coach, very good guy. And yeah, I've obviously come back the following season, ready again, gone away, done my stuff, ready to go again. And in pre-season, yeah, in one of the training sessions, yeah, so I got injured again. So that's how it kind of started with me under him. I remember I took I was in training, took a shot. I remember it was crazy because I don't know, we was doing this transition thing. I was playing the right way. I cut inside, shot. Let me just say this: unbelievable shot, by the way. Top corner into the top. It was crazy because I shot, went top corner. I remember I think Reguilon was kind of defending me, but you know, like because I felt something, I didn't even care about the shot. Like, but it was a crazy goal. So then I remember when it happened, I knew obviously the feeling of how it felt the last time. So I remember just obviously walking out of the session and like going to the physio and that kind of stuff. And obviously I was devastated and all that kind of stuff. So so I didn't go on the pre-season tour. I remember staying behind and I was out till November, I think, again. So it was like 3-4 months in. I think it was out for 4 months. But this time it was different because this one I actually had to have surgery. Okay. So this is the one on my left. So I remember pretty early they told me you need surgery. So I remember doing that. I think the next day or two, or the week, I can't remember, was it 2-3 days after, went to central London, did the surgery. So now, oh wait, hold on. So now, I've got a brace, I'm on crutches, but at the same time, Mrs. is pregnant.
Oh, okay.
So, I can't remember the date of when I'd done it, but Mrs. was given birth 2 weeks after.
Oh my God, what, after the surgery?
After surgery. So you can imagine, I've got crutches, I can't even stand, so I'm sitting down, Mrs. is about to give birth, and then like I'm trying to help her, like I'm sitting down. You know, like you feel like you're not much help because I can't do anything. So to juggle my injury and having a baby at the same time was hard. It was crazy, but it kind of made me forget. I made the journey of being injured like kind of go quite quick, obviously. So the focus is on obviously Lacey's recovery from the birth and obviously the child as well. So, but looking back, it's probably a great time that it happened because I could spend so much more time with obviously Lace and the baby. Me not obviously being on the pitch and stuff. So that was me for about 2-3 months, and then when I obviously come back, they didn't want to rush me with my rehab and that kind of stuff. So I was training with the 21s, getting sessions there, playing. I think I played 1 or 2 games with them, and then yeah. So I played a game with the under 21s, West Ham, at the training ground. So it's like one of my first games coming back from the injury, feeling good, everything's all good. And I remember playing that game, I think maybe 35 minutes in the game. I get the ball, tap it past someone. As I'm like running and trying to get the ball on the other side, I feel this one go. So I feel my right hamstring go.
Your first game back?
Yeah. So I'm thinking, no way. Like this can't be. First game back from this long injury that I've just had. So my first game back, I'm thinking, like this can't be true. Like this can't be real. What's going on? I end up pulling up, and this one feels like worse. This one feels bad because I can't even. This one I could walk off the pitch. This one I couldn't walk off the pitch. So I remember just like collapsing on the floor. They've obviously brought the buggy over, and I'm telling them like I think I'm crying at this point. I'm crying. Obviously devastated. So they put me on the buggy, drive around to the medical team. They do the tests and that kind of stuff. They don't need to do tests. I know that like what's happened basically. And then I've gone to get a scan. I believe the next day. So you have to wait for the swelling to go down. Done the scan. They told me surgery again. So as you can imagine,
world must be ending at this point.
As you can imagine, it's crazy. I've just done
worst luck.
Yeah, unbelievable. I've just done 4-5 months rehab on this. So now they're saying similar time. I think no, sorry, they're doing. Was it similar time? I think similar time on this side. But yeah, as you can imagine, I have to do the whole process again, like recovery, brace, crutches, all that kind of stuff. And then like all sorts is also going through your head. You're thinking like
With a newborn at home as well.
the newborn at home.
Your contract runs out in the season.
That's a good point as well. Yeah, it's true.
Are you worrying about that?
I'm thinking, so I'm in the last year of my contract. This is the year I need to, you know, like really play games and do something. Obviously, this happened, so a little bit maybe I'm in the back of my mind, like panicking a little bit. And then, yeah, so I do that. So basically, that season is written off. So pre-season I've done that, and then in the season I've done that. So pretty much the season's done. And I remember, yeah, just saying like, yeah, forget this season's done. And then, yes, I've had the operation, and I'm just doing my rehab at the club, coming back, all that kind of stuff. And then, as time's going on, I'm obviously noticing like there's no real talk with my agent about renewing a new contract or anything like that. So I already knew what time it was. So I spoke to my agent, and then basically saying, oh, sorry, I had an option contract. Got told they're not gonna give me the option, renew the option, activate the option. So
Can you just explain for people that might not know what that option is?
an option is from the club. So if they want to agree an extra 1 year to your contract, they can activate it. So
But it's up to the club, not to you.
it's up to the club, yeah. But I got told through my agents not long after the injury that I wasn't gonna get that option. They weren't gonna activate it. So that's when obviously you speak to your agent, you start thinking like what's gonna happen, so, what teams could be interested in you and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's how it happened.
How were you feeling like when you got the news that your contract wasn't going to get extended? Like how did you feel?
I was fine because I kind of knew that was gonna happen because of the situation that I was in at that time. Obviously, it wasn't a nice feeling. I wanted to obviously stay at the club and see what was gonna happen in that type of situation. But it is what it is, I kind of knew it was coming, but you just have to adapt, really. So.
I'm going to pause here, and I actually want to rewind a little bit before we continue about the Spurs period, because one thing we didn't get into at Spurs, you played with like some pretty elite players, right? Harry Kane, Son, all of them. What was it like playing with these guys? Like how good were they in training? Like who like blew you away?
Yeah, Harry's anyone that's played with Harry or knows him will tell you he's like elite, the best of the best, top professional, on and off the pitch with everything he does, and recovers well, speaks very well, motivates the players very well, everything. Son as well, which is no surprise why he's the captain of the club now. So yeah, these guys, watching him in training every day was for a young player was very good to see, because they are the top of the top.
Cool. So you're leaving Tottenham. You know you're leaving. You end up returning to Fulham. How did that come about?
So that wasn't actually too straightforward at that time, because so I finished Spurs. Obviously, I'm without a club, free agent at the time, and then there was always like whispers that I could come back. The club like wanted me back, all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't straight away. Like it wasn't straight away when I left the club, Spurs. Then Fulham kind of get a whiff of what's going on a little bit. Then I get a call from the gaffer, Marco Silva. He's telling me he wants me to come back home and come to Fulham, play for him. So my agent spoke to the people higher up at the club, and then it happened. So yeah,
You went home.
I went home.
Nice. So you're back at Fulham. How have things been since you returned?
Yeah, pretty good. Obviously the team are doing very well. I think we're 7th in the Premier League at the moment. Off the back of 2, obviously London derby wins against Brentford and Palace. For myself personally, it's been a little bit difficult in terms of game time, but obviously when the team's doing very well and The manager doesn't really want to rotate too much. Obviously, the team's doing well, so you not really want to change a winning team at the moment. But I'm staying patient, working hard, and obviously waiting for my time to take that chance. So yeah.
And you're feeling fully fit and stronger than ever.
Yeah, stronger than ever. No worries, no problems at the moment. Feeling good, feeling sharp, and excited for the rest of the season.
Nice. What are your reflections on that period, like that move to Tottenham? If you're honest,
Yeah.
do you regret the move?
No.
Tell me.
No, because first of all, I don't regret anything in life. Everything that's happened is meant to happen. Everything happens for a reason, and I believe at that time it was the right time for me to move, to play at the highest level, especially at my age as well. I wanted to develop, so and I felt like me going to Tottenham at that time was going to do that. So I don't regret anything that's happened. Yeah.
Nice. And you got a really good group at Fulham. It looks like, yeah, you, Bassi, Emil, guys you've played with before, know, and things like that. Is the group good?
Top.
I bet it feels like you're like playing with your mates, basically.
It is literally. That's like, I say that to Lace all the time. I feel like when I'm going to training, it's like being with the man and being with the guys, you know. So it's a really fun environment to be around, and a very good group of, like, not even just those guys. The whole change room is really good. Yeah.
What's it like having to defend against Adama Traore and training?
Good. I was saying this to someone the other day. He is a nightmare to play against. He's so fast. People don't understand how fast this guy is, and strong. So it's like, and it's mainly usually me always up against, obviously him being right wing, me left back. So we have good battles in training.
Obviously, you win them.
I win some, I also lose some, but the way I like to do, I ain't gonna obviously say like what I like to do, like defending against him like that. But he has different ways of how you need to know how to play against him, really. But he's a handful, really. Yeah.
If you could change one thing about the football industry, what would it be and why?
That's a great question. The football industry, the comments and the negativity of football fans and people around football to footballers, where you might not know what people are going through behind closed doors. We're all human, and I feel like when you lose a football game or when you play not to your best, people like to tear you down, all that kind of stuff. Where football fans, I understand they pay their good money to come watch us footballers play, but there's times in football you're not going to obviously play your best every game. So, and then we come away from that and go back to our families, and then we have to deal with all that negative hate and all that kind of stuff. It's not nice, it's not easy, and I feel like that's where the football industry is kind of lacking as well. We need more understanding and awareness around that as well, I think. Yeah.
Izzy mentioned times where because of that you've like had to delete social media and things like that. Was that because of that sort of thing, getting abused and stuff?
I think so, especially when I was injured as well. There were times where, before I was injured, when I was obviously playing, the same way fans will build you up, they will tear you down as well. So it's like, you kind of got to go with it, but I feel like fans need to be a bit more understanding in certain ways, especially when, you know, football's like this. It's a roller coaster, it's up and down. So I feel like just more of an understanding about how footballers are in general would help a lot. Yeah.
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong if you've done anything else, but I feel like this is like maybe the first time you've been able to tell your side of the story for what's happened in your career over the last few years.
I've done little interviews here and there, but it's not made like any noise really, in terms of this much depth. So maybe, obviously, yeah, when this comes out, it could show what I've really been saying.
If you could go back in time and give your younger self some advice, what would you say and why?
Just take your time with everything. Like embrace every moment. obviously knowing that there's going to be ups and downs in the career that we like live. Obviously, when I was younger, I knew there was always going to be ups and downs. But when you're young and you start in the industry and everything's going well for you at the start, and everyone's going to say you're going to stay there, you kind of feed into it, but you know deep down anything can happen. So that's what I was thinking when I was younger. So I would say stay calm, take everything in your stride how I was, but at the same time be mindful that the minute you're slack, the minute you switch off, the minute you're not 100% always at it, things can go left really quickly. So I would say stay focused, enjoy, and don't take it too serious. I think that was one of my things as well when I was younger. I was taking it too, and have something else on the side maybe to balance it out as well. Actually, yeah. That's what I'm trying to tap into now as well.
Anyway, yeah. Firstly, yeah, really important, great advice you just shared. I wonder if you can relate to this. So, as you know, we did an interview with Callum Hudson-Odoi a couple of weeks ago. He said, and I wrote this question because I feel like it's something you might be able to relate to. Tell me if I'm wrong. But he said he felt like people thought he was older than he is because he started playing first team football so young. You were even younger than him, and you're still only 24. You're young as a footballer essentially. You're still in the early stages of your career, despite having played so many games. Like, do you relate to that a bit?
100%. Yeah. So I'm the same. Callum obviously started, when was Callum? 16, 17, when he broke through. So it's the same. And I feel like, and I've been saying this for a while, we're in an industry where we have to grow up very quickly because of the life we live. And we get put into obviously an adult world, and obviously you have to grow up very quickly. So that's probably why you think, obviously a lot of people think I am older because obviously I started quite young. So it is difficult to manage if you're not, if someone's not managing it with you properly. But if you've got good people around you, like I said before, it should run quite smoothly. So, but yeah. But also at the flip side of that, it's exciting because again, I am still quite young, but I'm feeling obviously stronger and fitter than ever. I still got so many more years ahead of me in the game. So that's what I'm quite excited about as well.
Final question from me is, what does the future hold for Ryan Sess? What do you want to achieve on the pitch and also off the pitch?
For me, my immediate objective is to obviously play games for Fulham this season. I still have dreams of playing for England. And yeah, man, staying injury free, staying strong, and just enjoy playing football, you know, with a smile on my face. And that's it, really. That's it. Other than that, in a footballing way, there's not much more. Just want to play football. That's it. Off the pitch, there's a lot of things I want to tap into. I can't really say like what specifically, but I want to like have a balance to obviously my life where football's here and then have other things to obviously focus on as well. So
As you should, hobbies like normal people. Footballers are human as well.
my question to the Rising Ballers audience is, what advice would you give to your younger self and why? Let me know in the comments below.
I like that.